In today's video, we're going to recap J-Day USA 2023, which took place in Austin. And for the second time ever on my channel, I have a live guest here in studio with me. It is my lovely wife, Susan. Say hi to the people, Susan.
Hello, people.
Hey there. How do I usually start this by myself? So.
Just throwing you right
Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to Watch Me Work live stream number 204 here on the Basic Joomla Tutorials YouTube channel, where I show you my favorite extensions, tools, and tips for building and maintaining Joomla sites. I also work on Joomla sites, build them, maintain them, migrate them to Joomla 4. So if you are looking to hire someone long-term, short-term, or you're just stuck, send me an email, tim@cybersalt.com. Today's video is brought to you by our channel sponsor, MySites.guru. Do you have a Joomla site? Of course you do. Head on over to MySites.guru, get a free site audit for it. While you're there, you will be able to check out tons of tools that will save you time and money managing one or multiple Joomla sites. All right, so hello to everybody who is in chat. Let me just find that here. Oh, where I lost that one. I got some different things happening here. Hello to Bjorn and Stefan, Ivor, Mary. Mary says blink 3 times if you're forced to do this. Hello, Chris. Yeah, so we went to J-Day USA. It was in Austin, Texas, and it was last week. It was about a week and a half ago. And so I thought that, and I was super excited to have Susan travel with me and go to it. And so I thought we would talk about the conference, and we would also talk about Austin, Texas, because we had a good time there with some extra days. So, how would you rate the whole experience of going to J-Day USA?
Conference and our time there together? Like the whole shebang, or just the conference?
Sure. Well, do the conference, then do the...
The answer is probably the same for both. It was fantastic. I was a little hesitant about the conference, of course, because...
They're all nerds.
Well, I'm fringe, right? I do a little bit with Joomla, but you're the Joomla guy, and...
I'm the Joomla guy in the house here. But...
Yeah, so I wasn't sure that I would, fit in, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was thinking I might do some shopping or do something else and let you do your own thing, give you lots of space to be yourself, but I ended up hanging out. I told Laura I'd volunteer, and so that gave me something to do, and then I ended up sitting in on a couple sessions too, and yeah, it was fantastic. I'd love to do it again.
So people asked you what you do in Joomla.
Oh, yeah, not much. I can find my way around the back end, and I can create an article, and I can do a bit. I did build a website back in 2017. I think I did that for the work that I do.
You did a great job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but I like it. I also did a little bit of work with you way back. I forget when that was. Is that also in 17? Maybe, yeah, a little bit. But
you've helped out with things from time to time.
Yeah. So I know a little bit. But I'm also one of those people that needs to master something before I feel like I can do it at all. And one of the really heartening things at the conference was that there were so many other people who, my perception of them was that they would know a lot at the beginning, but then as the session went on, or as people were asking questions, I realized that I am basically the same as all of them, and that was really encouraging, and has given me a new impetus to learn more and do more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's one of the things that I wanted to mention coming out of the conference, was because when people asked you that, you undersold yourself quite a bit, and we noticed that was sort of a recurring thing with a number of people at the conference who were participating, just feeling like that they didn't know as much as other people there and keeping quiet about it, or maybe feeling that they didn't fit in, yet they had the courage to go to the conference. And, just to your comment about wanting to master something, I don't I don't know if there's anybody that has mastered Joomla. There's people that have mastered it way better than me. I don't feel like I've mastered it at all. But yeah, so especially, we talked about that here on the channel. If you know something about Joomla that someone else doesn't know, then you can help them. If you know something about web pages that another organization or business doesn't know, then you have something that you can offer to them. And probably, it's challenging for us to learn if we're trying to not let people find out how we feel about ourselves or if they look the same. And that can really hold us back. So as far as the conference, it wasn't just for Joomla brainiacs. It was just for people that use Joomla, and it was really good. Now, I'm just going to share on the screen here, and I should actually...
Can I say something
else
else
too?
too?
You can say whatever you want.
About the conference feel as well. As much as there were people there who've been using Joomla a long time and who know a lot about Joomla, nobody made anybody feel like they weren't good enough or that they didn't know something. Everybody was there to learn something from everybody knew that they could learn something from other people who were there, and they were just waiting to find out what they could learn from somebody else there. And yeah, there was no sense of oh, you don't know this very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I learned things like Maintenance Monday this week on how to speed up your media manager. I actually got that tip from Olivier's What's New in J 4.3, and we've looked at that a couple times on the channel, and I didn't even know about this thumbnail settings for media manager, that was new, so I was super happy to learn that. I like too at the conference because there was always probably many of you have people in your lives that are sick of you talking about Joomla to them. But at this conference, you could just talk about Joomla all you wanted. In fact, so that was fun. And then you would see people off looking at laptops together, or say, "Hey, let me show you something," or there would be discussions taking place. And so that was really nice. And that's a good point. It was a really encouraging conference and context for people just to learn and to hang out. In chat, hi Chris, and hi to Patrick. So I'm going to just share, I shared the Joomla Day USA website in there, and then also we'll just take a quick look at the site. There we go. And I've got the chat there. So you can go and check out some of the things I'm going to talk about. I have the program here, Sessions 2023, and I'm going to talk about some of the sessions that I took part in, or that I went to, and some that I took part in, and there we go. All right. Hey, we're kind of not straight on this camera, are we? When did that happen? I don't know. Let's just see here. Does that make it worse? Oh, that's better.
When you're talking about people talking about Joomla anytime, one of the fun sort of ongoing conversations was when we would go out, because we would go out as a group. We went out walking downtown as a group. We went over to a nearby restaurant as a group. But before we would go, the event organizers would say, "Okay, we're going out. This is just like a night out. No need to no talking about Joomla while you're out. This is not about work. This is about just having fun together." And of course, invariably, it would happen. So on the one near the end, somebody specific got called out for saying, "Now no talking about Joomla, no talking about work." And he said, "But for me, it's not work. For me, it's fun. For me, it's just a fun thing to be doing, and it doesn't feel like work at all." So he tried to get off, but off the hook.
Yeah, and his wife said that they weren't going to win an argument with him.
Yeah.
He was like a lawyer. Yeah, that was actually one of the really fun parts of the whole weekend too, was meeting people in person. Which is really odd because I met a couple of people in Spain just before the pandemic. Oh,
I can get that.
Susan's going to talk to you. I have to go sign for a delivery.
Oh, well, so he met a lot of people in Spain. I didn't meet anybody in Spain. I don't know what I can tell you. Just it was surprisingly enjoyable, and I know that not everybody can travel far, but if you get a chance to go, I'd recommend it. I'm already excited about the next one.
Yeah.
So you were talking about Spain, people you met in Spain.
Yeah, so I met a couple of people in Spain that were also at Joomla Day USA, but there was, it felt like I knew so many more people. Like, it just wasn't odd to see them in person because of all the stuff we do on Zoom. The small business Joomla user group that I'm a part of, there's a bunch of people that were in there. And yeah, so that was really curious. And there's one person I was sure that I had met in Spain. And it turns out that I hadn't met him in Spain.
He wasn't there.
But I've had so much contact with him through video online and that it just felt absolutely natural to see him. So that was fun. Let's see. Stefan says the idea with Joomla Day is to bring together experts with beginners and everyone in between. It's fine not to know techie things. Exactly. Yeah. And Patrick says Joomla is not only the best CMS today, but has the best community. Everybody's helping everybody here. Try that on the other CMS forums. Yes, there's some places where Joomla gets discussed where that is not true. But but here on the channel at JD USA, probably at the Joomla days, it's probably the events that take place, and hopefully in the Joomla user groups they are. It is that way, and I agree. So,
I have a question for you.
What's that?
Do people know where the events are happening? Like, is there like a place where they can go to see? Because I know there's something happening in Norway or someplace now. Or
the Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yeah, there is a listing somewhere on one of the Joomla sites. I think on Joomla.org it might be listed. Let me just take a quick look there.
Because could people connect with those online as well as in person?
Yeah, there's a whole at Joomla.org. Let me just change screens here. There we go. At Joomla.org. Let's see. Let's check the news here. There's got to be somewhere. It's a good question, and there are places that you can just go. That's just news about releases. Someone probably knows the link and can paste that in chat. And it might be community.joomla.org. Is that a thing? That just popped in my head. Let me just see here. Community.joomla.org. I think it might be that. There is a community.joomla.org. Oh yes, upcoming events here on the right-hand side. This is where things are listed. So we've got the Joomla Australia user group, Joomla Day France, Joomla Day Switzerland, right? ACH, CH is Switzerland, right? And other things are coming up. So not only the Joomla Days, I'm going to post that in chat here. Not only the Joomla Days, but also Joomla user group things that we can find. So there's a lot on that site. So that's a very good question. Full screen camera back to there. Okay. So, yeah. So here's the program for J-Day USA. And I thought I would just go through and make some comments. On the topic of meeting people, I don't want to say all the people that I met because I'm sure I will leave someone out. And I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings accidentally. But it was marvelous meeting everybody who have been on the channel before, or there were, I think there's some people there that hadn't seen me on the channel, either that or they really super weren't excited about meeting me anyways. But no, we just had, it was great spending time with everybody, and so that's why I don't want to go down through the list.
I have another question.
Oh.
Were any of you guys here today, did any of you join virtually? And if you did, what was the experience like, from attending virtually as opposed to us who
That's a very good question.
attended in person?
I was thinking that was
time?
no. I was thinking that might be one thing. Hey, just put in chat if you think Susan should join on all of the live streams. Because hey, it's nice for me. I get tired of listening to myself all by myself here, but yeah. So do that if you took part. Give a shout out in chat there and talk about what your experience was like. All right, so first of all, amazing team, the J-Day USA team. They did a really great job. And I got to sing, oh man, I didn't do that. This person right here, Laura. Laura is amazing. She is a real dynamo. She's the leader of the group and just put together a wonderful, not only conference but activities and planning things. And Laura knows how to get people to do stuff. She would just announce, we're going to do a selfie. Everyone stand over here, or time to end the session, get going. And she put a lot of work and effort into that, and not only energy but emotional energy. So shout out to Laura, but to the whole team.
And great food, great snacks.
Oh
great
yeah,
menu. So all that planning.
Yeah. So even when we arrived at the hotel, and I'm going to talk later on about the cost and some of the things we did in Austin. So for those of you that don't want to hear that, you can just listen about the conference and then eventually just nod off as you usually do during my live streams. But when we arrived from the airport, there was a bag, just a little bag waiting for us at the front desk for everyone as they checked in, and it had a couple of oranges in it, a couple of apples, some chocolate, some candy, and it was just
granola bar, water.
Yeah, granola bar. I didn't really care too much for.
I was happy to see that.
I know, which is great, which means I get more of the stuff I like, and then she gets the granola bar. But that was really nice. So when we could just go up to her room and kind of just relax after traveling all day and just have a snack, so that was really good. All right, so let me just keep an eye on chat here. Okay, so let's see. What are I going to say? Okay, the platinum sponsors, which you can find on the website there, they played a big part in this conference because it was only $50 to attend the conference, and that really kept the cost down. That and Microsoft, as a supporter of open source software, we were able to use a Microsoft workspace to have all the meetings, and that was a pretty nice space where I wish that was my basement. That whole thing, that was really good. So the cost for that was low, and so the sponsors that was really, really great. And then there's also other gold sponsors and silver sponsors. And all right, so introduction to Joomla class took place on the Friday, and Rod Martin, who I was happy to meet him in person and got to talk with him a bit. And then after the conference wrapped up, actually got to have a nice a personal visit with him too, get to know him, for us to get to know each other better. But he did an introduction to Joomla class, which was all day Friday. And then while that was taking place in the morning, there was a bug and fun at home, and Olivier was leading that, and that was sort of a spin-off of the pizza bugs and fun, and people were figuring out how to test things and fix bugs on Joomla, something I still don't know how to do because I've had people explaining it to me, but my eyes glaze over at a certain point. So as soon as I know how to do that and can explain it simply, I will definitely do some videos on that. All right. The keynote speaker was the OSM President Crystal
something Greek.
Yeah, I can say it sometimes.
Dionysiopoulos?
Yeah, Dionysiopoulos. Sorry, Crystal, if we mispronounced that. We missed, Susan and I missed that because
we were trying.
We were trying. I was following Google Maps to the pin that was on the J-Day USA site, and it actually was to the building next to where it was, and we ended up walking. It was like, it's only a 5-minute walk, but we must have walked about 20 minutes.
I don't think it's even 5 minutes. From our hotel, you go at the back, it's probably like 3 minutes to the door of the building.
We walked quite a bit.
We took the scenic route.
Yes, and then we got to this building and realized that it was not it. And I had my laptop in the backpack, and I was hot, and I was just mentally discouraged. So I said to Susan, I need to sit down. And not because I'm tired, I just need to sit down. And then another couple came around. They had been following the same directions and done the same thing. So I called an Uber because then I thought it must be over in this other area, and we went across the highway. Then we found out it wasn't. Anyway, so we missed that. So the first real thing that I took part in, or that I actually sat in on as well, because of not doing the Intro to Joomla 4 class or the Bugs and Fun, was my panel on the Friday afternoon from 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. And I got to have, that panel was called the Smarter Than Tim's, because I had volunteered to speak on something at J-Day USA, and they said, oh, actually, would you run a panel instead? Which is a polite way of saying, we don't want you to speak. So anyways, that panel went really well. I really liked it, and each of those, the 4 people on there, are smarter than me in some area, and had them discuss it. So Stefan, who's here in chat and part of the channel, he was doing a very basic tutorial on multilingual Joomla sites and setting them up in the menus, and that has been really good. And his videos are really, he made a sample video for me in preparing for a conference, and it's really good. So Stefan and I have some plans to get some of him to do some videos on the multilingual stuff, and I'm going to put them up on the channel here.
That was one of the sessions I sat in on.
Oh, okay, great.
And also saw it, and would completely agree that even for somebody who doesn't know much, it was it was interesting and informative, and really well done.
Yeah, and you came away with an idea for your site,
Mm-hmm.
which is a site for information about refugee sponsorship here in Canada.
It is.
No, okay, I'll just because it would be very helpful to have that information in other languages. And the challenge, I guess the challenge of having different languages on your website is, one, the translation, but we know lots of people who speak those languages that we're helping or that are looking for help. So then the other challenge is, well, how do you do a multilingual site? And it's really not that hard. As Stefan showed, I mean, you could follow those steps and get going, and eventually you would figure it out. And if you got stuck, you could just ask Stefan, or you could ask me, and then I could ask Stefan.
Right.
But yeah, so multilingual sites. And, so one of the things I said at the end of my session, by the way, these sessions were all taped, and they're going to be online, so you can still buy a ticket to the conference and attend virtually anyways. I think the goal to have them all edited is May 10th. But anyway, so one of my observations was, especially in the States, is that you don't see a lot of multilingual sites, even though there are a lot of languages spoken in the States. In fact, when we were checking out of a hotel in Austin, I wanted to leave a tip for housekeeping, and so I told the person behind the counter, and she looked at me, she says, "You are speaking English." Yes, I am speaking English. But so she did not speak English. So a point out there for everybody is that if you are doing Joomla for business or making some money, and you see a website that is not multilingual and would benefit from that, maybe there's a large population from a certain country that lives in that city, then you could go and say to them, hey, you could have other languages on a website. I could do that for you, and then you could quote, and you could get people to translate and to do that. So so that Stefan did that on languages. Then Vinny showed us his ongoing love affair with Articles Anywhere, and how he's used that on the I Love Old Time Radio site, and also his he uses UI Kit too. So there's some cool things happening on that. And that's not a surprise for us here on the channel, because Vinny's talked about that and shown that before. So that was really nice. Then Troy Hall, who has Bears Amp, a way to create, you've heard of WAMP or XAMP, just a really great package that he and someone else has put together that allows you to work locally on Joomla sites on your computer. So that was good, and that's not anything that I've only looked at it, but I've got I just have not bothered to learn it. So that looked a lot easier if I was going to do that than some of the other things that I've tried. And then Joe Sunny and I talked about sunsetting Joomlers, just balance in life, and so that was really nice. And then we used up all of our time. We got Laura. We got the hairy eye from Laura. Actually, Laura came in the back and she said 5 minutes and gave
She gave everybody
the circle arm, and she's trying to get us to cut it off. But Joe and I were having a good time talking. So, and I really appreciate Joe because he's got a really great experience. He's an incredible history in his life of being a successful salesperson and in business, and he's but also trying to seek balance in life, and so that was good. I enjoyed that. All right, then the next session was from 3 to 4, and that was Nicholas Dionysopoulos. I think that's what I would try. Yeah. Nick from Akiba, and he's got this really fun presentation on security and Joomla sites and websites. And so we watched that, and you were in that. We both watched that, right?
I came in partway through.
Okay.
Yeah, so I missed some of it, but what I was there for, yeah, definitely enjoyed.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace is sort of based on Star Wars.
Yeah.
I was going to say Star Trek just to drive everyone crazy, but let me just check chat here. Okay, let's see. The idea of Joomla Day bring. Ivor says, when can we see the videos from the sessions? So I mentioned that if you've registered, then you can see they'll be up soon, and you'll get notified. But head on over to J Day USA and sign up, and because there's tons of great stuff there. Stefan says, yes, please be there as often as you can, Susan.
Aw.
Hey, maybe you should just do a whole live stream without me.
Who, me?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, but I think it'd be fun.
No, people would drift off in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, okay, well that would be faster than the drift off with me. Mary said, I did enjoy some of the classes, some were too early, and she's going to watch on replay. Yes, because you're in our time zone now, so there's 2 hours earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, time zone can be a thing.
Patrick, didn't know that you could attend virtually. Yes, Patrick, you could. So that's so you missed a chance to attend virtually live, but all the stuff will be there to watch. And I'm editing some of the videos. Everybody's editing different videos because we just all chip in and do that. So some of this they'll flow really nicely too. Bjorn's looking forward to the replays. Couldn't see any live sessions due to several issues. Oh, good. Well, that's a great thing. There's a question about whether the J Days should just be in person or virtual. Some are going back to in person only. I think they're concerned that if they do virtual as well, people won't attend. And I do have stats here. I asked Laura to send me the stats. Let me just find those here. That's not going to be it. Got too many things going. I am months away from having 4 screens at my desk. Maybe 3. I might get a big curved screen. Let me just find out where this thing here is. That's not it. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, 36 people attended in person, 110 total registrations, 14 people attended for the introduction to Joomla. And there was 24 sessions, and on average, some sessions had 30 people virtually attend. Others had less. In person, we had from 10 to 20 people attending each session. So that was a good crowd, and I think for the cost of getting the Microsoft space and that, things were down. So I know that when they were planning this on doing it virtual and doing it in person and virtual, that Laura said to her team, well, it doesn't matter how many people sign up, we're just going to go and we're going to do it there. And anyway, so it was, it was that. So I think the virtual thing works. We're all trying to sort out what's going on after COVID and coming back and doing things, and who will actually, if people want to just do things remotely or different things like that. But this was, it was good to be, it was good for it to take place, and good things happen virtually and also in person. Okay, let's see.
I would think that if it's possible to attend in person, there's so much value in in what happens in between sessions, and so much value. Just those casual conversations, whether they're long or short, and meeting people, like eating lunch together, and just sitting beside each other in a session. Like there's a lot of value in attending in person if possible. But if it's not possible, then to get the content is great.
Yeah.
Virtually, which is, I think it's probably all you get virtually. I wondered what it was like, because I know a couple times Laura, like, she held up her laptop and like scanned the room so we could wave to everybody who was online. But I don't know what sort of...
Well, there was also online networking time as well. So both lunch hours, there was just a room, and I think people physically were in the room as well. But that was so there was that time to connect, and
So Mary, if you attended, if you were in any of those, I'd be interested to know what that was like for you. If you felt like you were actually connecting with people, or if that was a valuable, like a good thing to, in terms of adding to the conference experience.
Yeah, so we'll watch for Mary to type something there. Some comments here about Nick and Akiba. Yes, he's developer of Akiba Backup, and Stefan's happy to help anyone set up multilingual sites. And Imran talks about Nick has a deep HT access file for Joomla, and he's lost that. Does anyone have it? And Stefan said that it's in admin tools, and it will generate one for you. And Imran also works with multilingual sites. So, all right. So that was Friday. So then on Saturday, we did make the keynote address because we knew how to walk the 2 minutes to the meeting. Another comment about being there in person. When you come down from the hotel for the free breakfast, you're sitting there eating with people. That's kind of nice, hanging out extra time. There's lots of snacks and food that were where we were actually meeting.
The meals and the snacks were really good.
You could actually
good balance of sugar and healthy, and the catered lunches were fantastic.
You could actually skip the breakfast at the hotel, and there was plenty of stuff over there as well. So. And that was all included. So anyways, opening keynote was Rod Martin, OS Training Director. And so he shared his Joomla story, which was very interesting. And then he called a bunch of people up just to share their Joomla story in just a minute. And that was very nice as well. So that was a good session. Then the sessions went on. So the next one I went to was the executive board discussion to increase participation in the Joomla community. And so, one of the, I know that this is a point that was in Crystal's keynote address from the first day that I heard from talking to people. One of the mysteries that is reoccurring in Joomla is how to get more people involved. And I would just say one of the mysteries of that is, that goes along with that, is that there's not full appreciation for why some people don't get involved or aren't involved any longer. So I made a comment in that session and shared that the reason that I don't do more in Joomla, anything really officially or that, is just because of the environment, the toxic environment that takes place in some of the, especially in the GitHub. And I shared an experience where there was something I asked where something was being discussed, and they created an area in GitHub, and I just thought, because in GitHub there's some people who just routinely are negative and mean to people, and some of them are people that contribute a lot to the project, but it's almost like they use the project, their involvement, as an excuse to be whatever it is that they're being. So I think that's a challenge for getting more volunteers. Now, having said that, I was reached out to by Benjamin, I think it's Trenkle, Trenkle, and he said, let's have a discussion. I've got some ideas about volunteering and about your comments and that. So and that was virtually as well. He attended virtually, so I think that is another example of why even participating, whether in person or virtually, you're networking with people. So I'm looking forward to connecting with him and seeing what his ideas are. I'm not against volunteering. I just don't have time for mean people. So I got enough things in my life that are trying to keep me happy. You keep me happy. You're not one of them.
I try.
Yeah, you try. She does a great job. Anyway, so that was that discussion there. And then at 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, I think I was walking around talking to people. I sat in a bit, have your say in how Joomla 5 website design will look and feel. And now the Joomla 5 website design, that session is on the new, what the Joomla.org site will look like for when Joomla 5 comes out, not Joomla 5 itself. Anyway, so I did not, so I was just milling about talking to people during that, didn't take in that session. All right, so then at 11 o'clock, this was the next session that I moderated, and that was Ian Oliver's 50 useful non-Joomla tools that you can use when designing with Joomla. So my memories of that are, man, I'm really glad that this is being taped or recorded, because I'm going to have to go back and look at some of his suggestions. And also, I was pretty happy that a couple of things that he recommended are things that we use. ClickUp for task management and Canva for doing graphics. But there's some other things that he mentioned, and so I'm looking forward to watching the replay of that. Also, the other thing too is, we talk about how feeling like an imposter at the at things like, oh, these people know more than me. So Ian uses an example. He says, now when you're working with a client and going through the steps of getting a site ready, and he's talking about different things. He says, now whether it's a 100,000-pound website or a 10,000-pound website, he's in the UK, and I was like, 100,000-pound, oh my goodness, I'm out of my league here. I would just be happy to have a 10,000-pound website. That would actually be about $16,090 Canadian. It's good to surround yourself with people that are kind and knowledgeable and also have experience, and not only just as far as in your peer group for the level of life or your business, but also people that are ahead of you and are doing bigger things. Sometimes we think, oh my goodness, I'm nothing. Why should I even bother trying? In fact, just talking to someone yesterday and this morning in a chat who tried to get a Joomla job, a website job, didn't get it, and so I said, well, now's a good time to fix up your other sites and get caught up, because he's struggling in his business, and so I can tell he's discouraged. And it's discouraging not to get a job that you were hoping for, but he's got stuff that he can do, and so we should just be happy with what we're doing, and then things will come along. We'll get better at them. Anyway, so Ian Oliver, that was a really good session, and some a good exposure to a lot of non-Joomla tools that he uses. All right, then 1 o'clock. I took in Olivier Buissard's session and SD Williams' session. Joomla 4.3, what's new, what has been improved, and what can you expect? So it's great. Olivier is really approachable anyway, so it's not just because I know him and did not meet him in Spain, as I thought. But it's really cool to be talking to the people that are in charge of these releases, and this was a good session to get things. Like I said, I got my Monday maintenance tip this week from that. I might have another thing from one of the sessions that I'm doing. But interesting, I talked to him at the conference about the guided tours, and I said it would be really great if we could export them or import them and from one site to another. And he said that that's functionality that they've talked about, and that will probably come along with Joomla 5, which I think is coming out in October. I think it's supposed to come out in October. but it's not going to break anything. So everyone doesn't. There's no need to panic. No need to panic at all. So about Joomla 5. Anyway, so that was a really great session, and something funny happened to me, and it was actually not that bad. Every time I moderated a session, I realized why I should not be moderating sessions, because I'm happy to talk, but when you moderate the session, you had to log on to Zoom and claim host, and there's just a bunch of fiddly stuff, and my brain just like says, oh, this is gets out. So at one point during Olivier's presentation, we're sitting there in a room. Richard sitting across from me says, Tim. I look up and he points at the screen, and there on the screen is me scratching my ear, as I have that bad habit because I'm a very itchy person. And I was worried that it had broadcast to everybody virtually as well. It was bad enough it was on in the room. I was just like, oh no, what is that doing up there? And you can hear it in the recording. But it was only local, so I was able to fix that. So that was a good session. All right, catching up with chat here. Mary says she's a virtual gal, so it was great for her. Mary has a hard time prying herself away from the goats.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from the goats. Ira said he'd love to attend in person, but would have been very costly with flight tickets from Norway and the hotel costs. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the costs in a little bit. And there's Patrick chatting to Nicholas. Stefan says, same situation for him, far too expensive, but agreed that's another experience to participate in person and to meet all kinds of Joomla people. And you guys have it really well in Europe, because it's not that you guys are all just half an hour away from each other, but there are lots of events that you could go to. Europe is such a bigger user of Joomla than the States. So yeah, I think if we were in Europe, it would be way easier to travel. I'm speaking at Joomla Day Netherlands virtually. I'm showing them Migrate Me 4, and I almost thought about just hopping on a plane and going over and taking in the conference, but things are not there yet. So you would go to Netherlands with me, wouldn't you?
It depends how much it costs.
Yeah, so it depends on how much it costs. So well, same thing with Austin, though, right?
Yeah.
The cost, yeah. Susan's a cost watcher. I'm an experience haver. So okay. Patrick says they need to make the participation more accessible and find a way to let the community prioritize what is needed. Or Patrick, are you talking about prioritize what's needed in Joomla? I think that's what you're talking about. Bjorn says, I hope they do virtual next year too. It's very inconvenient for me and other disabled people to travel so far. And that's another point. So someone that, Bjorn, you used the term disabled there. So someone that has an ability.
It's just mobility issues.
Yeah, mobility issues. Yes, and traveling, then having it virtual. I think virtual is, well, I know for J-Day USA, virtual is probably going to be staying around. Virtual is here. We're in the world and continuing on. Here in Canada, the CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, is on strike right now. And one of the things is they want to be able to work from home more often. So, yeah, we've seen that shift there. Imran agrees with Bob. That's Bjorn. Yeah. It's a little bromance that Imran and Bjorn are having. He calls him Bob. I think I forget what the origin is. Anyways, it's way more impossible for people like him who lives in tomorrow. Yeah, Imran's in Bangladesh, so he's actually in tomorrow. Is he? Yeah, he's in tomorrow. In 10 minutes, we'll be in the same day as you, Imran. Imran says, I'm one of the most experienced person he knows since 2013 or 14. Imran doesn't know too many people. Oh, he says experienced moderator person. Yeah, I can talk.
Oh, yes.
I can talk. Oh, yeah, I can talk and talk and talk and talk. Okay, and Stefan says I'm welcome in the EU. Yes, I am welcome in the EU. except for 3 countries where the judges have forbidden me to travel to. All right, so the next session, 2 o'clock session, there was Robert Jacoby and Brian Mitchell were doing separate sessions, but they combined theirs because they thought the topics were so close. I'm going to watch the recording of that. I didn't watch that live. And Elisa Fulton, she was there from Germany, totally destroying any chance of us being the people who had traveled the farthest. Right? There's, you get really, we might be the farthest, but there's no prize for traveling the farthest, anyways. She did a 2-hour session on U-Theme Pro Workshop. So you took that session.
I did, yeah, and that was encouraging for we don't use U-Theme. I don't know anything about it. We've been using Template Creator CK. But it was really encouraging for me because later on we were talking and I asked her if she part of developing that what do you call it, app software? See, this is how much I don't know.
It's a framework. Well, it's
framework.
It's a framework and page
whatever
builder.
it is, yeah. So I asked her if she was part of that or she just uses it a lot and knows it well. And she said she just uses it a lot and knows it well. And I thought, well, I could do that. I could just use something a lot and get to know it well. And
do live streams on my channel showing people how to use it.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I could at least be confident. Yeah, so that was encouraging. And a lot of what is available in U-Theme is also available in Template Creator CK, so then I know kind of what to look for and what to watch for and not to give up so easily when I can't find something that I want, but just to keep looking. And then, of course, it's so rewarding when you actually find it and can make the change that you want to. And it sticks. And yeah, so it was encouraging to go to, even though it wasn't directly translatable into what I do.
All of those page builders and frameworks and everything, extensions, they're just ways to make it more accessible, to make things look or do what you want them to, instead of actually directly coding, which is kind of funny because I'm sure there's people out there who would think about Joomla or WordPress or Drupal or any of the other CMSs who would just sort of scoff at it and just say, oh, just type the code. You can just program that. Why would you use all that other stuff? And to the point of that she just knows it really well. Yeah, you can show other people stuff. And Frank Kern says that all you need to be a consultant is to know something that someone else doesn't know. And I think that's a good progress, because as you're learning things and helping other people or working on projects, then you learn and you just slowly add to things. Stefan says we should have a discussion sometime about frameworks in Joomla. Patrick, Bjorn and Imran are laughing about their bromance. Patrick says, yes, prioritize what Joomla needs. For sure, the deep technical stuff needs to be taken care of by people close to developers, but even their power users can participate. Yes. Yeah, and I think, we had that experience on the live stream a couple of weeks ago when we looked at AI buttons from the fellow in, I think he's in Switzerland, but he's in Turkey right now, and I've forgotten his name escapes me right now, and I apologize because he's probably watching. What was I just saying about that?
About frameworks, conversations about.
No, the thought totally left my brain, and I can't reply or rewind here. So, power users, even power users can participate. I think everybody who has an extension should watch somebody else using it, and that's what So that experience we had on the live stream. Because as I tried things, you see in chat, and this has happened with other extension developers, they've said, oh, I need to change that. Oh, I'll change this. I'll change that. Because when you're programming and and designing, you just figure this is how you would use it. But as someone who's experienced and is thinking it maybe in a different way, you see other everyday people or even power users that go to do something and think, oh, I should change that so it's easier. So I always encourage people to if they want a dumb guy if they want to see a dumb guy test their extension, send it to me and we'll look at it. Ivor says ChatGPT is very good at making sales pitches for about anything. Stefan said that he would be in that group. Imran says Tim could bring someone to make the session to talk about frameworks. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was actually thinking today about making a video that said that I use page builders. Because we've talked about that. I've mentioned that before. There's sort of a machismo in Joomla for just the core, and not everybody wants to learn the core. They want just easy things. So, yeah. All right. So U-Theme Pro Workshop. So, and then the last session I moderated was at 3:00. Well, Elisa's workshop continued on, and that was Building a Business Website, a Modern Design for All the Right Reasons by Robin Clapp. For those of you, she is the leader of the Small Business Joomla user group, which is kind of an inside joke because that is actually called, that user group is the Businesses That Build Websites with Joomla user group. And I said, you got to come up with a better name for that. So I suggested Small Business Joomla user group, and I think it's going to be even shortened to Small Biz. We'll see what she does. But let me tell you, that was a great session. I think the U-Theme Pro workshop was super full with people virtually and people in attendance. So there weren't too many in person, and I think there's one logged in virtually. But I highly recommend that that session that Robin did. It was just really great systematic way to look at how check boxes along the way when you're building a business website, and it made me think about revisiting a couple things about my site. And even the other day I was talking to Gernur, who works for me, and we're talking about action steps or calls to action on a site, and that came out of her session. So it was a really great session, so I hope that people watch that. And then that was, then after that we had a fun session called Stomp the Joomlers. So the J-Day USA team went and sat at the front, and people asked questions to see if they could stump them. So I asked the question, I asked a bunch of questions. But one question I asked was, what is the table in a core Joomla 4 install that has the longest table name? Because we're supposed to try to stump them. So, anyways, that was a fun activity. And then I guess the last official thing there was drinks and apps at a local restaurant, which was just nearby, that we could see, so we didn't get lost trying to find it the first time. Actually, we walked past it the first time trying to find the other thing. So anyway, so it was a really great time, really great conference, great content. And so now let's talk about Austin. Let's talk about costs. Okay, so first of all, the hotel costs for 3 nights. We got there Thursday night, so Friday and Saturday night was $600. The conference, the J-Day USA conference, is $50. And we, when our plane landed, we Ubered, and we got in late on that Thursday night. There's also a huge lightning and thunderstorm and rain, so I think there weren't that many Ubers out. And so the price is up. I think it's cost like $70 to go from the airport. Because when we looked at Uber back from that, I looked later on at another time, from the hotel back to the airport, the Uber would probably be about $30. So I altogether, so conference, hotel, and Uber, if you're flying in, is probably about $700. And then on top of that, you have transportation. So for us, that was 2 tickets from Canada land, and but some people drove. Others flew, so that would be a variable cost. And as far as cost for food, we had our breakfasts were included with the hotel. Lunch was provided as part of the conference.
Suppers were provided too. They had the barbecue.
Oh yeah, we had barbecue the one night.
And then that night.
The next night there's apps and that. So you could buy, of course, you could buy more food or something like that at the apps place.
Yeah.
But
you didn't need to. Like we were never hungry.
No, there was plenty,
it was
and
really,
yeah,
really
lots
good
of great
food.
stuff to snack. Yeah, fun food to snack on, healthy food to snack on. Yeah, what was that I ate on the Friday that I went? No, it's Saturday. When they brought in the tacos and stuff. I'm not really a taco or messy food guy, but they had that. They also had that chicken. It was like a something to put. Anyways, I had taco shells and there was this chicken stuff. It was so good. I went back for seconds, and I don't usually like. I had one because I don't want to get hungry, so I'll eat this chicken, whatever it is, I can eat it. And then I got eating it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm gonna have to another one. So probably altogether they're about $700, and then you've got your cost of getting there. Now there were some people that stayed in Airbnbs or at different hotels, so they probably paid less than the $200 a night.
Well, and to be fair, when they were organizing the hotel, Laura told me that with conversations as they were planning for it, the hotel cost I think was like $129 a month, or $129 a month. Wouldn't that be nice? $129 a night. But then by the time the conference actually happened, it had gone up to $189. So they tried to get a lower price, but that couldn't be done when we were there.
Okay. Just looking at chat here. Oh my goodness. Imran's trying to start Imran says, I'm becoming a strong ambassador of Joomla. How about that? Well, thank you, Imran. That's very nice. Patrick says, needed ideas, Dropbox with the ability to participate, to vote up or down to prioritize them. Ideas to the top become Joomla tasks, and people that vote for them are invited to work on it. Oh, there you go. People that vote for it are invited to work on it. Yeah, and that's the challenge right now of how ideas get processed and that. One of the things that is being added to came out in Joomla 4.3 was an idea first proposed, I think 5 years ago, but it's been sitting there in as a suggestion. I forget what it was, but all right. So Austin's theme. The city of Austin's
their motto.
Yeah, their motto is Austin, keep it weird. And it's a weird place.
Yeah, but fun, hey?
Yeah. The Friday night, a bunch of people were heading down to the Bat Bridge, and we were kind of thinking, well, will we go, won't we go?
It was a place that I'd seen as I was researching what we could do in Austin, and I knew that we wanted to go there at some time while we were there. It's just whether we would go that night with the people from Joomla or whether we'd save it until we were just there on our own and go. But we've decided to go with everybody, and I'm really glad we did. It was great to be able to go see more than once, and it was a lot of fun.
And it was fun doing that with them, too.
Yeah.
So this bridge, in the 80s, they built this bridge, and the expansion joints that they built into the bridge that run the length of the bridge, that parallel, not across, accidentally or unintentionally, they were the exact perfect dimensions for bats. And so, long story short, now in the spring and in the fall,
between May and October.
Oh, between May and October, you can go down, and just after sunset, there's 1.5 million bats that come flying out of this bridge. And you can watch from the ground, you can watch from the bridge. There's people on the Colorado River in boats and tours that they're paying to take, or kayaks that they rented, and they're just watching all these bats come out. And that was, so that was fun. And then we walked into downtown Austin, because it's right there at the bridge, and we went up to 6th Street, and where there's lots of live music in Austin. So we ended up at this country western bar, complete with the cow skull over the door with the horns, and they had live music. So we were in there for a while enjoying. There was 2 groups that we listened to. One, there was a long break in between. But just walking around and seeing things, and we saw some things we want to go back to, like this bakery that was part of a hotel that was in 1886, built in 1886. So that was good. And then on the Sunday morning, there was this optional scavenger hunt that you could take part in. A bunch of people from the conference. So there's 20 of us that signed up. Was it 20? There's
Nope. 12.
12.
6 and 6, because there was 2 teams.
Right.
6 in each team.
So there was 12 that signed up. It's $20 each. And so if you saw the thumbnail on the video, then for today's video, that was Susan and I. That was taken at the beginning of the scavenger hunt, and I kind of thought I had written. I'd contacted Tesla. I thought it'd be cool to get a tour of the Tesla factory that's there in Austin, but they don't give tours, and they never got back to me. But so this scavenger hunt, I kind of thought, all right, it's a scavenger hunt, and I guess I'll go because it'll be fun to be with the people, and we'll just take part and do that. And then it turned out to be super, super fun. So the whole business that runs these scavenger hunts, this is a woman who is a retired teacher and actor. She started one scavenger hunt just as a hobby, and it's virtual that you could do it and go and take pictures and send them back. And then COVID hit, and now she's like got this whole huge business and 300 things on different cities.
You said it was virtual, but it was a scavenger hunt that you would do physically.
Yeah.
Send photos back.
Yeah, send photos back to her. So that was the.
But then COVID hit, and then.
Yeah. So we were. So we did that. So that we, first we had to find someone to tell us a ghost story, and then we went to find out the name of the 2 dogs at some little art gallery, and so you're kind of moving your way around. Then we went to a store, and we had to, what did we have to do in that store, at the grocery store? I fell. I had stepped off a curb and fell and just did an old person fall. I had a tea. It was cold that morning. I had a tea. I threw it out. I just kind of did a control roll, and by the grace of God, I was not hurt. But there's something we had to do in there.
Yeah, our team leader was getting the text from the organizer, so he was the one who kind of knew what we had to do and made sure that we got it done. I think at that one we were just tagging along. Yeah.
The next place we went to was this candy store, big, huge, long candy store, all kinds of candy.
Big Top candy store. Yeah. It's all circus themed. Apparently the owner had tons of circus memorabilia.
Yeah. And we went back there on days later on our own time and got some candy there, and I like orange lifesavers, so I got those. But one of the challenges that we had to do, someone in the group had to do inside that store.
For extra points, didn't have to. You could opt out.
Yeah, extra points.
But for extra, you could.
You could buy a box of grasshoppers, and someone had to eat a grasshopper. And they actually had it that if you bought it, sent her the receipt, you got the money back for that. So someone quickly said, "I'll eat a grasshopper," and I was thinking, like, "Oh man, here we are. We're supposed to keep it weird. I'd like to eat a grasshopper." I said, "I'll eat one too." So then, actually, 4 of us ate a grasshopper, including
me.
Yeah, including Susan.
Yeah.
It was just crunchy. It was just, they said it's like sunflower seeds, which I don't really like, anyways. But it was just fine. I had a big one. And,
it was okay.
Yeah.
I had to have something afterwards though to get it out from between my teeth, because that was nasty, thinking that it was dried bug between my teeth.
Imran says, "What's a scavenger hunt?" So Imran, in English, to scavenge is to look for something. So if you've got, especially if you're looking for a tool and a whole pile of tools, you go scavenging for what you need or that. So this is, so this was, they would give you something you had to find, and you'd go and look for it. And when you found it, you would take a picture and send it, or a video. And previously, before doing stuff with cell phones and internet and that, a scavenger hunt, you would, like we would do them with the youth group, you'd say, go out and find something red, or get a tool from someone or whatever, and the groups would collect it, and you'd come back and see who had found everything, and they would get points. All right, so we ended up going for ice cream on that. We ended up at a bunch of other places. Oh, we had to go find out, go to one store and find out how expensive their most expensive cowboy boots were. They're $15,000. So that was something we had to find out that information, and they had tons of boots there, tons of Western stuff. We went again when we were back there days later. Bought a belt. I needed a belt, and I got a wallet. But they also had cowboy boots there that were made out of cobra skin, and they actually had the cobra head on the toe. So that was
Ostrich hide.
Ostrich,
common.
yeah, ostrich, goat,
Cow.
python. Yeah, if you got skin, they make it out of there. If you're an animal.
Yeah, I definitely know you're in cattle country there. There was another store that wasn't part of the scavenger hunt, but they had a mural on their wall. It was probably 8 feet high by 14 feet long or something. Like, it was really, really big. It was all in color. It had like a whole scene, all made out of leather.
Made out of hide.
Yeah, hide. Yeah.
It smelled good in that store too, like good smelling leather.
Yeah.
So so we had fun with that. We went for a long walk at the end of that after the scavenger hunt was over. It was like a super long walk. Oh my goodness, It
was one of the downsides of being part of a group, because you don't want to be like the ones that.
I don't want to go for a walk.
Our ride was part of that group, so we wanted to stay close to the people who were driving the vehicle we were in. But it was a case of some people saying, "Oh, let's go here," and then someone else saying, "Oh, let's go there," and then suddenly you're like 8 miles away from your vehicle.
But having said that, this is the first time I've ever used Uber, and that was really great because we didn't have to worry about parking a car. We didn't have to. I think we, for all that we spent on Uber trips, the whole time, was less than what we would have rented a car for, paid for parking, and that. So that was good. And so at least with Uber, and that happened one day, I just did not want to walk anymore. I said to Susan, I said, I walk if you want to, but I'm not having fun. So we kind of sat there for a while, and then we Ubered to actually meet up for supper with Elisa, Fulton, who had stayed extra days as well. But that was good. We went to a Texas barbecue place, which was very interesting experience. There's a lot of people lined up outside, and then so it was like, oh, this is gonna be a long wait. But they herded us through like the cattle we were going to eat.
Yeah, they did.
They kept us moving. But that was good. Yeah. That was a good meal. Enjoyed that. Very different. And if we had gone a second time, we probably would have known what we were doing and just gone and ordered and sat, and it would be normal. But yeah, we kind of figured it out. We went to jazz club a couple of nights, and that was enjoyable. We liked that. After the conference, we went and we had an Airbnb booked that was closer to town, so we did that and stayed there. That worked out well, and did a little bit of shopping back where the scavenger hunt had been. Just like I said, got a belt and a wallet. Susan got some earrings that she liked, and candy for the grandkids. And that morning, actually, we twice, when we checked out of the hotel, there was a couple hours before we could check into the Airbnb, and we didn't want to drag our bags around downtown. We had nowhere to leave bags, but our Airbnb hosts, because they said that we couldn't check in early, suggested that we look up this service called Vertoe, Vertoe, and basically there's another kind called Bounce. Basically, there's these places. One was a dry cleaners, one was sort of like a gift shop, where you book in for $5 a day per bag. You can store your bags somewhere. So we Ubered to this place, got rid of the bags, and then we were able to go about our activities. And then all we had to do was go back and get our bags, and then Uber to the next place we're going. So the last day, what we did was we had a few hours before our flight left, and we wanted to go back to this place where the scavenger hunt had been. So we left our Airbnb and took our bags to this place, had breakfast at this cafe, and then we walked around. And then when we got back to, then we got our bags, and then we caught an Uber to the airport.
A little later than we were.
Yeah, like 15 minutes later. Yeah. That was all. Anyways, we got to the airport. We gave them and Susan had tried to check in the night before, but couldn't. So we got to the airport and gave our passports to the lady behind the counter and said we weren't able to check in. Can you help just tell us where to go? And she took about 10 minutes and she says, I see the problem. She says, your plane's already left. Delta had changed our flights and they hadn't let us know. It was in an email, but I didn't get any text about it. Susan didn't have her phone on for data. And so they said, that's our mistake. We're really sorry. So they rebooked us for the next day. And so we just got a hotel near the airport, a Super 8. And then the next day we left and flew home. So that was, it was a great time. Stefan says, did you know that Uber in China is called Didi, which means little brother?
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah, so it was a great conference. It was a great time. We enjoyed being away, and Austin's the state capital, so we were in the state capitol building. There's a choir singing. We walked around and saw things. We went on the tour that they give. The Senate, both the Senate and the House were in session, so we got to sit in there a little bit and just see that in action. We spent some time at the museum there. We got there just before the museum closed, so they let us in to walk around quickly for half an hour. But that was really good, and so it was great. It was all very good. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I had a blast there. Had a lot of fun hanging out with you and with the Joomla people. I would go again.
We will go again. So who knows where it will be next year. Next year in April, there's the total eclipse that's happening in the States, and I suggest it's earlier on in April, and I suggested to Laura that they have it in a location where the eclipse is, so people can enjoy it after the conference, because I think it's like on a Monday. But apparently the earlier date is Easter, and so that's not a good time to have a conference for people to go to. So, anyways, it was it was really good, and it was fun for me to have Susan there, and to meet the Joomla people, and she was volunteering and helping with things because they'd asked for some volunteers, and so it was nice having her meet Joomla people, and nice to see her concluding that she can do Joomla. That she's not pretending. She's able to do it. She's migrating that site right now to Joomla 4 and works every week on my setting up a newsletter on my site as well. So, yeah. All right. Imran thinks that the shirt that I'm wearing is probably made in Bangladesh.
Oh, it might be.
I think. It might be. We'd have to check. So, everybody, that's our recap for J-Day USA 2023. Thanks for tuning in and your questions and comments. We will see whatever the topic happens next week is going to be. Let me just get my... let me just find the right button here. Any other comments or that? Mary, you're welcome. And I have to find this. Vinny suggested I get a Stream Deck, which is just pushing buttons to change scenes, which I am open to doing instead of looking for it on the screen here. I think I'm going to change some things in the studio in the next couple of months, so who knows. So it'll be less of this looking underneath my glasses, looking for the right place to click. But anyways, you're very welcome, Stefan. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. And as usual... we hope that wherever you are, be it morning, afternoon, evening, or tomorrow, that this finds you well. Make sure I got the button here. Yeah. So until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.